of rain 60%. Here is the latest offshore marine forecast. Storm warning. Tonight, south winds 10 to 20 knots, becoming southwest 20 to 30 knots. Seas 5 to 9 feet. Light freezing spray early. Friday, west to southwest winds 15 to 25 knots. Seas 5 to 9 feet. Areas of fog with visibility 1 nautical miles or less. Friday night, north winds 10 to 20 knots, becoming northeast 25 to 35 knots. Seas 3 to 5 feet, building to 5 to 9 feet. Snow and rain. Light freezing spray north portion. Visibility 1 nautical miles or less. Saturday, northeast winds 35 to 45 knots, becoming north to northeast 40 to 55 knots. Seas 10 to 17 feet, building to 14 to 28 feet. Snow with visibility 1 nautical miles or less. Light freezing spray. Saturday night, north to northeast winds 45 to 55 knots, becoming west to northwest 45 to 60 knots. Seas 19 to 34 feet. Sunday, northwest winds 30 to 40 knots, becoming west to northwest 20 to 30 knots. Seas 15 to 25 feet, subsiding to 11 to 17 feet. Sunday night, northwest winds 10 to 20 knots. Seas 7 to 11 feet. Monday, northwest winds 5 to 15 knots, diminishing to less than 10 knots. Seas 4 to 7 feet. Monday night, variable winds less than 10 knots, becoming east to northeast. Seas 3 to 4 feet. Tuesday, east to southeast winds 5 to 15 knots, becoming southeast 10 to 20 knots. Seas 3 to 5 feet. Tuesday night, south to southeast winds 15 to 20 knots. Seas 4 to 7 feet. Here is the latest offshore marine forecast. Storm warning. Tonight, south winds 5 to 15 knots, becoming southwest 15 to 25 knots. Seas 3 to 6 feet. Friday, southwest winds 10 to 20 knots, becoming west 5 to 15 knots. Seas 3 to 6 feet. Friday night, north to northeast winds 5 to 15 knots, becoming northeast 25 to 35 knots. Seas 3 to 4 feet, building to 5 to 9 feet. Chance of rain with visibility 1 nautical miles or less. Saturday, north to northeast winds 40 to 55 knots. Seas 11 to 18 feet, building to 15 to 28 feet. Rain and chance of snow with visibility 1 nautical miles or less. Saturday night, west to northwest winds 45 to 60 knots. Seas 19 to 34 feet. Sunday, west to northwest winds 30 to 40 knots, becoming west 20 to 25 knots. Seas 14 to 24 feet, subsiding to 10 to 17 feet. Sunday night, west to northwest winds 10 to 20 knots. Seas 7 to 12 feet. Monday, west to northwest winds 5 to 15 knots, becoming northwest 5 to 10 knots. Seas 4 to 7 feet. Monday night, north to northeast winds less than 10 knots, becoming east to northeast. Seas 3 to 4 feet. Tuesday, east winds 10 to 15 knots, becoming 10 to 20 knots. Seas 3 to 5 feet. Tuesday night, east to southeast winds 10 to 20 knots. Seas 4 to 6 feet. Here is the latest offshore marine forecast. Storm warning. Tonight, south to southwest winds less than 10 knots, becoming southwest 10 to 20 knots. Seas 3 to 5 feet. Light freezing spray early in the morning. Friday, west to southwest winds 5 to 15 knots. Seas 3 to 4 feet. Friday night, northeast winds 10 to 20 knots, increasing to 25 to 35 knots. Seas 3 to 5 feet, building to 7 to 11 feet. Rain with visibility 1 nautical miles or less. Saturday, northeast winds 35 to 50 knots, becoming north 45 to 55 knots. Seas 14 to 23 feet. Rain with visibility 1 nautical miles or less. Saturday night, northwest winds 35 to 50 knots, diminishing to 30 to 40 knots. Seas 14 to 24 feet. Sunday, west to northwest winds 20 to 30 knots. Seas 12 to 20 feet. Sunday night, west to northwest winds 15 to 20 knots, becoming northwest 10 to 15 knots. Seas 7 to 12 feet. Monday, north to northwest winds 5 to 10 knots, becoming north north to northeast. Seas 3 to 6 feet. Monday night, east to northeast winds 5 to 15 knots, becoming east 10 to 20 knots. Seas 3 to 4 feet. Tuesday, east winds 10 to 20 knots. Seas 3 to 6 feet. Tuesday night, southeast winds 10 to 20 knots. Seas 5 to 7 feet. Here are 8 p.m. conditions across southern New England's coastal waters. Off the east coast of New Hampshire and Massachusetts, at Isle of Shoals Tower, the wind was southwest at 23 knots, with gusts up to 25 knots. At Boston Buoy, located 16 nautical miles east of Boston, the wind was southwest at 16 knots.
Alrighty guys, what is up? Welcome to the live stream. Hope you guys are doing good so far. Let's go ahead and see. Rain says hello. Ty interpreting weather says hi. What's up guys? Welcome to the live stream. Hope you guys are doing good. Rain asked, am I excited for spring? You know, yeah and no. I'd like to have another good snowstorm before the winter ends. But you know, I obviously can't control that, unfortunately. That'd be kind of cool if I could, though. Yeah, I'd like to get another good snow before the winter's over, but then after that, yeah, I'll be definitely be ready for thunderstorms and stuff. But guys, if you're just now tuning in, welcome. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. Hope you guys are staying good. Hope you guys stay safe for these upcoming storms, because we're going to be having a lot of pretty crazy conditions here. We're actually monitoring 2 storms now. Another one showed up here, and we're actually going to take a look at that here in a moment, but let's go and see here. Ty says my birthday is in spring, so yes, my birthday is also in spring. My birthday is on April 2nd, so I was literally almost born on April 1st. Can you believe that? Alright, so guys, we're going to go ahead and switch on over here to the current radar view. This is what we're talking about right now, guys. Now, you know, that's essentially what we're seeing here. So we do have a lot of snow showers, actually, kind of across bits of the Tennessee-Ohio Valley here, you know, Kentucky, as well as bits of Tennessee. We're actually seeing a bit of snow shower activity across the region. Ty says, but spring is still a long way away. Yeah, we literally are just now starting to get to the end of January. Can you believe that? Just how quick this month has went by. I mean, it is crazy. But yeah, we've actually, you know, we've been dealing with that. You know, all of January went by really, really quick. Yeah, we still have February as well as March to go through. Those are still winter months. But March is whenever things start to kind of shift more severe. We'll probably start to see a little bit more severe weather across the south. You know, turning a lot more from pollen and stuff. It's really not fun. But guys, like I was saying, we are currently doing some snow showers across bits of the Ohio-Tennessee Valley here. Maybe some mixture of precipitation just north here of Knoxville, Tennessee. But you know, Frankfort, Louisville, looks like you're starting to get some snow showers here. Nothing too crazy, just a little bit of snow shower activity. Probably little to no accumulation is probably going to occur with this. So this does drive its way up into the northeast. And as we were taking a look here at the future radar from yesterday, we actually did see that all the snow was supposed to drive its way over here. It's already here, guys. Here it is right here. So the next step, what's going to happen next is that now that we're starting to approach here to the 28th, tomorrow's a big day, you guys. Tomorrow's whenever things are really going to start getting bad. So we are going to have a lot of moisture that starts to drive its way up here from the southeastern side here of the Atlantic shoreboard. Track itself up to the north, and an area of low pressure is actually really going to start strengthening. So we're going to get an area of low pressure that will form and track its way up to the northeast here. This will actually cause, you know, the system that we're going to see, you know, drop a whole bunch of snow and everything like that. So we'll see what this does. We'll take a look at the models here in a moment in terms of things. Ty says getting excited for the weekend. Yeah. You know, honestly, this is going to be quite interesting to see how this is going to play out. But like I was saying, guys, you know, there is still a bit of model, even now, there is still a bit of model disagreement in terms of things. Let's go see. Shadowman04 says, I'm ready for spring thunderstorms. It's been ages since I've had a good thunderstorm in Oklahoma. It's been a while for me as well. I mean, I've had some pretty good ones. Last year, 2021, here in Northern Virginia, we usually have the mountains that block off a lot of lower level flow, which kind of, you know, disrupts any like tornado outbreaks, which is a kind of a good thing. Not saying that they can't happen, because they obviously can. But, you know, like I was saying though, it's like last year we really didn't seem to have too many thunderstorms, but when we did, they were pretty good. I remember one specific storm that we had 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and I think it was 2-inch hail, I want to say, golf ball size hail or something like that. It was pretty crazy. It was actually pretty crazy here. Let's go see. PC Gamer says that they're predicting a lot of snow up in Virginia and New Jersey. Hope they see it. We are expecting 1 inch in my location. In Virginia, I don't think they're expecting too much. I do know that Delaware's kind of in the you know, kind of in the track here, maybe seeing a decent amount of snow. We'll get to that here in a moment, like I said, the models. But like I was saying, guys, you know, we are going to have this area of low pressure that will track itself up to the northeast here. We will start to see, you know, the system strengthen as it moves its way up north. We are seeing a pretty large potential of seeing this thing could be quite large, too. You know, quite a very, very strong area of low pressure, you know, almost equivalent to a Category 1 or Category 2 hurricane in terms of pressure alone. Let's go and see here. PC Gamer says, in Northern Virginia, is snow normal up there? Like, do you always see snow every winter? You know, it's pretty frequent. Yeah, we obviously always usually get a trace of snow per year. I will say the biggest snow we have had was in 2016. It was Winter Storm Jonas. Here near the DC metro area, we got around 3 feet of snow. But to your question, you are wondering, do I see snow every winter? Usually yes, but the last few years have actually been kind of lower. But this is usually because we are in our La Nina pattern. It's usually a little bit more warmer around here, as well as a little bit more dry across bits of the mid-Atlantic, you know, here for Virginia. It's usually a bit more dry in these conditions, but luckily, this year we are still in a La Nina, but, you know, that usually shifts winter bad away from our side in terms of not much snowfall. But we had the Atlantic to support us in this one. We have that positive NAO, which has a lot of blocking highs, which basically allows for a lot more nor'easters to occur, and which, you know, honestly, that's kind of the stage we're currently in here. Let's go and see. I'm getting behind here on chat. Shadowman says, 2020 and 2021, Oklahoma hasn't really had much severe weather season. Yeah, a lot of the severe weather has been kind of just persistent across the southeast, it seems like, over the last little bit here. Let's go see. Ty says, I am getting prepared for about 1 to 2 feet of snow here in New England. Ty, you're lucky. I wish I could have that storm. Dude, that'd be so nice. I could really use another one of those storms. It's been a while since I had one, because we had another one back in 2010. I was only 8 years old when we had this one. 2010, they called it Snowmageddon here in Northern Virginia. Pretty crazy system. I remember the power going out for like 2 weeks. We were out of school for a long time. It dropped a lot of snow. And like I did say, the 2016 storm we actually did have as well, which was, you know, pretty crazy. You know, honestly, I would love to have another one of those storms. I don't think it's going to happen. You never know, though. But I would love to have another one of those storms by the time that the spring rolls in. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, right now we are obviously seeing a lot more systems track its way up into the northeast here at the moment. But this is expected to change, like I did say. This will eventually change here down the line. So we will see how this happens. So PC Gamer says, same, I'm jealous. Yeah, me too, for real. I could really use that snow. Alright, so guys, so like I was saying, we are currently doing some snow showers across bits of the Ohio-Tennessee Valley here, as well as the Mid-Atlantic. You know, some of the snowstorms, or some of the snow, you know, showers moving its way through the region here, across bits of the upper northeast here as well. You know, we actually are seeing a bit of snow shower activity near Burlington, Albany, Syracuse. Looks like we're getting some, even near Buffalo. Some of these major cities here, we actually are seeing some snow showers. S says, hi, what's up? Welcome to the live stream. I hope you're doing good here. But like I said, we're dealing with a little bit of snow showers across these regions here. Nothing too crazy is going on here at the moment, but you know, this is probably going to allow for maybe some, you know, some accumulations to occur. Not too much. Nothing dramatic like we're going to see tomorrow. Tomorrow we're probably going to see a lot more. Now we do have a bit more snow shower activity. You know, nothing too crazy going on. I mean, we have some kind of across bits of New Mexico, Santa Fe, as well as Albuquerque. Seeing some snow across these regions. Quite crazy here. Let's go and see. Ty says, last time I got any snowfall around 2 feet was back in 2013 with Winter Storm Nemo. I don't remember Winter Storm Nemo, but 2013, that was a while back. Yeah, you guys are definitely probably going to see a lot of snowfall. Like I said, we'll take a look at the models here in 1 second. We're just kind of giving over the current conditions. So we do have some snow showers, limited snow showers across the Central Plains with ever so growing snow shower activity across the Ohio Valley and through bits of the Northeast. So let's go ahead and zoom into our future radar, because things are starting to show pretty interesting here on our future radar down the line. So, moving on over here, actually, I want to show you something, which is kind of cool. You can barely see it, though, but Tropical Tidbits actually changed their color outlook. Maybe I can change this here. Does this work? There we go. You can actually see that Tropical Tidbits, they changed their website. It looks a little bit more nicer, in my opinion. Anyways, getting sidetracked here. We're going to take a look here back at the future radar in terms of what's going on here in terms of things in the future. So, like we were saying, right now it is 8 o'clock, or actually no, it's 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern time here. So, we do have some snow shower activity across bits of the Ohio Valley into the northeast, as well as bits of the area of New Mexico, as well as Colorado. We actually did see that on the current radar view. Now, as we do track down here, you know, this is where things really start to get interesting. We start to get all this moisture kind of lingering in around the Ohio Valley. Maybe some snow around Ohio here. Maybe not too much expected in terms of things. Let's go and see here. Ty says 15 subscribers away from 300. Yeah, we are almost there, guys. We're almost at 300 subscribers. Let's go and see here. PC says, I keep hearing a radio. I thought I forgot to close the tab. Yeah, honestly. You guys like the radio or not? Do you think I should turn it off? You guys, would you like the stream better if it had it on or off? You know, I was just having that because, you know, for things. Maybe I can turn it off just whenever, or turn it back on whenever we be right back and stuff, but that's pretty funny. But guys, like I was saying here, we are expecting some snow across bits of the mid-Atlantic here. This will kind of start to drive its way into the region here, you know, across my area here in Virginia. Kind of around the afternoon, evening hours, it'll be snowing for a little bit here. And then we start to get all this interesting stuff goes on. So like I did say, we are expecting all this moisture to drive its way up here across the eastern side here of the Atlantic shoreboard. This will drive its way up here, and it will start to allow a lot of heavy snow to fall across the coastal northeast. Take a look at this. This is what this is showing here. This is quite crazy here. Let's go and see here. Ty says it sounds like you're a professional storm tracker, and it's pretty quiet, so it's fine. Okay, good. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure if you guys liked it better with it without. I just wanted to make sure that you guys, you know, didn't mind it too much, because I'm sure there's some people out there who probably don't like it as much, but, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, we are expecting some heavy snowfall to fall. I mean, take a look at Massachusetts here. Look how many hours they're going to be inside of snowfall. So starting here at around 2 o'clock in the morning here for the 29th, so really early hours here. We do track down here in time. We're moving into the afternoon hours here, talking 3 o'clock p.m. on the 29th, and it kind of moves its way out of the region by almost near midnight on the 30th. So you're going to be seeing snow for almost 24 hours. I believe it's like 22 hours or so across the northeast as the system does track its way off here on the 30th. So regardless, we are expecting a lot of snowfall to occur across bits of the northeast. We'll take a look at the totals here in a moment. Now, personally, I think that Boston, you're probably in, you know, Boston and Cape Cod, you guys are in for quite a ride, I would have to say. You guys are probably going to see the most accumulations out of this storm here. So it's going to be quite crazy. Like I said, we'll take a look here at the models in 1 second. But guys, if you're just now joining us, welcome. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. I hope you guys are doing good. If you are new to the channel, guys, consider subscribing. That'll be greatly appreciated. You guys are awesome. We're only 15 subscribers away from reaching our goal here of 300 subscribers. So I just want to go ahead and give a special thanks to all of you guys for supporting the channel. It's greatly appreciated. I really, really appreciate all of you guys' support. So thank you so much for all your support once again. You guys rock. So that's essentially what we are talking about in terms of your future radar here. Now I want to go ahead and take things to the Ohio Valley back with our radar. This is our GR level 3. This is our, you know, much higher resolution radar here in terms of things. We are seeing, you know, a lot here in the blue. We actually are seeing some snow that's falling across bits of southern portions of Indiana, as well as some rain. It looks like across bits of the south and central portion here of Kentucky, with maybe some freezing rain and sleet mixing in at times. And across the north, we actually are having a little bit more snow shower activity across the region. We actually did see on the national radar view, we actually do have that currently going on, but, you know, we're not expecting any crazy accumulations to go on across these areas, which is definitely some good news. So it really shouldn't have too many impacts. Now, like I said, tomorrow we are expecting some pretty decent impacts to occur. So let me go ahead and take a look here back at the past radar. So this is what we're dealing with right now. Let's go ahead and play this back in the past. Go ahead and set up our thing here so we can go ahead and get some further back frames here. So we did have all this moisture drove its way through bits of the Midwest yesterday. Tracked its way into the Ohio Valley. It's just now starting to move its way through the region here right now. It does look like it is starting to fizzle out though. Look how small that this is starting to get. So these snow showers look like they're starting to dwindle down a little bit. Now here on the western flank here, over the last few frames, it actually looks like there might be a little bit more growth. What's going on here? So maybe it's reaching some more moisture across the region or something. But we are currently seeing this little air mass track its way up to the northeast. It's not supposed to do anything too crazy. Maybe just dump a little bit of snow across some of these regions here. But like I did say, we are expecting that big snowstorm to occur tomorrow. Once we start getting some moisture driving its way up 2 bits of the northeast, you know, coming from basically the southeastern side here, the Atlantic shoreboard, moving its way up to the northeast, in which that's probably when we're going to start to see some pretty crazy stuff happen in terms of the strengthening area of low pressure, as well as, you know, a lot of snow starting to fall here for the coastal portions here of the northeast, especially eastern Massachusetts. That's kind of where we are. You know, looking at right now. Let's go and see here. PC says, hope to see you guys here tomorrow. Take care. Thank you for a wonderful weather update. You're truly a great guy. Take care. I really appreciate that, dude. I'm glad to see you here now. Definitely see you tomorrow, because we will be going live tomorrow, guys. So, you know, go ahead and, if you are not already, you know, consider subscribing, guys. because like I said, we will be going live here tomorrow for the event. We'll go ahead and do this. But PC Gamer, I hope you have a great night, and I hope you take care as well. But like I was saying, guys, this is currently what we are doing. We did have just a little bit of a moisture, a little bit of an air mass that's currently impacting bits of the Ohio Valley. Nothing too crazy, just some snow showers, maybe some rain showers mixed in with the system, especially across bits of Kentucky. Like we did see on the, GR3 analyst, or sorry, Geo Level 2 analyst. We actually did see the, we actually are seeing some rain and, some freezing rain across bits of the central and southern portion here of Kentucky currently across these regions. So, guys, that's essentially what we're talking about. So now, I feel like we should probably take a look at some models in regard to what we can expect here down the line. So, we're going to go ahead and take a look here at the GFS model, your latest run in terms of things. We are expecting some pretty craziness to occur in terms of this winter weather system that's going to impact the region. So let's go ahead and move this up a little bit here. So let's go ahead and see what we're projecting here in the future. So we do track down in time. We are expecting this area of low pressure, like I did say, to kind of form off across bits of the southeastern side here of the United States. This will actually draw in a lot of moisture here, some snow that we're, part of that air mass we're already seeing, impact bits of the Ohio Valley. Will track its way down into the mid-Atlantic view with this area of low pressure kind of connecting with it, just allowing for a little bit more moisture to drive itself into the system here. Let's go see. Ty says the line of some grocery stores are crazy. The local news stations are hyping it up so much, considering it could be the first winter storm with blizzard conditions since 2018. Yeah, that's what I was saying, guys. Things is probably going to be quite crazy. I mean, we are expecting this area of low pressure to be relatively strong. I mean, it's probably going to be a pretty crazy event. But yeah, that's what I was warning you guys before. You guys should definitely get ready for this. But yeah, honestly, I do believe that. Yeah, there actually probably might see some blizzard warnings if we haven't already. We'll take a look at the hazards here in a moment. But we might see some blizzard conditions because we are expecting some really heavy winds, especially near Cape Cod. Across those regions there, I would not be surprised if a blizzard warning is issued for those locations. Because we are expecting some heavy snow, poor visibilities, as well as some pretty crazy wind gusts that's going to be happening across those regions. So, honestly, we are expecting that to happen. Now, like I did say, guys, the GFS model does show the system tracking its way more up to the northeast here. With the pressure, according to this model, getting here in the 960 millibars. It's actually new to the latest run here. But this, the GFS is kind of keeping a lot of the snowfall off across the interior portions here of the northeast. This is about how far west the snow is expected to go into, so probably not anything crazy for the interior portions of the northeast. It's the coastal impacts. We're going to have a lot of coastal impacts in terms of a lot of heavy snow. We're going to see a lot of heavy winds, as well as a lot of, maybe even some, rising of water due to swelling. Basically, these airs are pushing against the coast. The winds are blowing against the coast, pushing all the water on land, which is allowing for the water level to rise and allow for a little bit more swelling to go on. So this is what the GFS model has to say. Now we're going to take a look here at the Ecmwf model. Here's your European model in regard to things. Let's go ahead and line my thing back up here. So this is currently what we are expecting out of your European model. So same story, we are expecting this area of low pressure to develop, dragging in all that moisture from that air mass we currently do see across bits of the Ohio Valley. This will start to collect all this moisture as it starts to track across bits of the Mid-Atlantic. Mid-Atlantic might see some snowfall across these regions here for the afternoon hours here for tomorrow. Maybe some rain could mix in. Now this system is expected to strengthen quite a bit. Now look how more dramatic. Let's go ahead and move our little marker back here. This one actually dramatically shows it diving a little bit more further in the interior portions here of the northeast. I mean, look how much snow. Look how much heavy snow is expected to fall across these areas here. We could potentially see some pretty heavy snow bands here. Easily up to a couple inches per hour, I would definitely say. We are expecting some pretty crazy conditions to occur. Like I did say before, guys, we are expecting some, maybe blizzard conditions across bits of the northeast here. Like I was saying, we are expecting some pretty heavy snowfall to occur. Maybe some whiteout conditions across the region. We are expecting some pretty craziness to go on here. Now, this system will continue to track its way up to the northeast, kind of gaining some strength, but it does look like it is going to start losing some moisture here. Once it kind of reaches up, the area of low pressure starts to reach up here towards bits of Maine, it does look like it's going to start losing a little bit of moisture, and it's going to start, weakening as it does exit off here for the 30th. So, that's what this model has to say in regards to the track. Now, I want to go ahead and move back over to our GDPS model. Here's your Canadian model in terms of things. Now this one is a little bit more aggressive in terms of things, as we did see earlier. So this one still shows the same thing that all these other models are saying, this area of low pressure developing across the southeastern side here of the Atlantic shoreboard, tracking its way through the mid-Atlantic, driving some snow, kind of building in all that moisture that was kind of remainder across the Ohio Valley here that we're currently seeing impact the region. This will kind of, allow for a little bit more moisture to drive its way into the system here. So we're going to have basically just 2 areas of moisture. So let's go ahead and track this all the way back. So we have some moisture here. And basically the southeastern side here of the Gulf of Mexico, or sorry, the southeastern side here of the Atlantic shoreboard, as well as some moisture kind of around here in the the Ohio Valley. Now we will get an area of low pressure that will develop, tracking its way up to the northeast. This will actually drag in all this moisture here from the Ohio Valley and drag up all this moisture here from the southeastern side here of the Atlantic shoreboard, allowing for this tank to actually pick up some strength quite quickly here, as you can actually see here. This model is also showing the factor of this thing getting into around the 960s millibar range, which is actually quite strong. Like I said before, that pressure gradient, in terms of your minimum pressure, that is literally around a Category 1 or Category 2 hurricane. But obviously, like I said many times before, this is not a hurricane by any means, but the same strength as well as the pressure is kind of expected to get around the same ballpark zone here. So let's see here. Ty says, I believe the NAM model is being the most aggressive with the snow amounts. I can actually look at that. We'll actually take a look at that here in a minute, Ty. So hang tight with us. We'll actually take a look at that here in a moment. So that's essentially what this is saying. Now, guys, I feel like it would probably be appropriate if we start taking a look here at some of these totals, because we're starting to get kind of close to this event and where we need to probably start taking a look here at totals. So we're going to go ahead and change back to our GFS model here, change over to our snowfall accumulation. So here's what we're expecting. So this model has most of the easterly track out of all of them, out of all the models here. This one has the more easterly track, barely impacting the northeast. I feel like we should probably zoom in here to the northeast for you guys, so we can get a better view here across the region. But this one has been a little bit more different because we are expecting more of an easterly track out of this model in particular. It's still showing the potential. The latest GFS model is showing the potential still of seeing well over a foot of snow pretty much across the eastern side here at Massachusetts. I mean, take a look at this. We're talking 16 inches near Cape Cod. We're talking more 17, 18 inches. So we do have some pretty high potentials here in regard to this model. But like I did say, take a look at this. We're going to go ahead and kind of draw this part from northern Delaware and through bits of New Jersey, bits of Connecticut, into bits of the northeast. So this is basically our snow line of accumulating 1 inch of snow or more, according to your GFS model. Now, let me pull up here the ECMWF. We'll go ahead and line that back up here right with Delaware. So in terms of your ECMWF model, this is your European model. This one shoots it a little bit more further west. Take a look at this. The snow line here between 1 inch of snow is a lot more west, at least 50 miles or so. 50 miles or so more west here. Let's go ahead and see here. People have been using the term snow cane right now. I mean, it is pretty strong. The area of low pressure is pretty strong, and it is delivering a lot of snow. So it's basically, you can call it a winter hurricane, because that's pretty much what it is if you think about it. A very, very strong cyclone that is tracking its way to the northeast. But like I did say, this is way more west. The ECMWF model has this 1 inch barrier zone here a lot more further west compared to this one. Now this one, your European model, take a look at this. This one's actually showing near over 30 inches or so across bits of Cape Cod. 30 inches of snow across eastern Massachusetts, well over a foot. So we're probably going to see, according to this model, maybe well over 2 feet of snow being possible across these regions here. So we'll continue to monitor this, as the system does occur. Now we're going to move over to our Canadian model. Now, like I did say with this one as well, it is a little bit more aggressive, or at least the last one I did see. This does not track down as far south, unfortunately, so we can't use this. But in terms of accumulation, this one is a lot more further west. I mean, this one's actually, I think, is the most furthest west. Take a look at this. This one actually has this kind of going into the central portions here to the northeast. The same idea, across bits of Cape Cod, we're actually seeing, not near 2 feet, but we're seeing, well over a foot of snow fall across the region. Eastern portion of Massachusetts still looking like it's going to get hit pretty hard. I mean, even Rhode Island. Rhode Island looks like it's going to be hit pretty hard as well. So we are expecting a decent amount of snow accumulations out of this across these regions here, potentially well over 2 feet of snow being likely out of the system. Now, let's go ahead and take a look here. Ty, let's go ahead and see what the NAM model has to say, since you go ahead and prop that up. Let's take a look at the NAM model. We actually do have another one that is rendering at the moment, but it's not out completely. So let's take a look at this one. So this one has to say, yeah, this one's kind of similar between, what your ECMWF model had to say. Potentially near over, maybe near 30 inches of snow across bits of Cape Cod into eastern portion of Massachusetts. The fact that there is several models that are agreeing on this, it's showing that there is probably some, probably some actual occurrences. This actually might actually occur down the line here. So we'll actually see what happens. Obviously there is some models that are supporting otherwise. There is models that are saying, it's probably not going to happen. Maybe just mostly near a foot. Some of the models don't even show a foot. But, there is a handful of models that actually does support the fact we could see over 2 feet of snow across the eastern side here in Massachusetts. It's something we have to continue looking at here over the next few model runs. Like I said, guys, we will be live tomorrow, so we'll give you guys the latest information regarding this whenever it does come up. So now, let's take a look here at the Rdps model. I don't have a thing for this one, so I'm just going to keep my NAM model up. So here's your Rdps model in regard to Snowfall. So this is a mid-range Canadian model. Now this one's kind of a little bit less aggressive, not really showing near a foot, except for these maroon shaded colors. It's actually showing kind of eastern and central portions here of Long Island in kind of this over a foot zone here, as well as eastern Massachusetts. So, honestly, it's quite safe to say that eastern Massachusetts is going to see at least see a foot of snow, if not 2 feet. So honestly, it's probably around 1 to 2 feet of snow is kind of the best projections across these areas here. Basically, anywhere where my line is, this yellow line in east, not really covering a large area, but across these areas, we're likely going to see maybe up to 1 to 2 feet of snow. At least 1 foot of snow being minimum, if I was to tell you that. Because, like I said, the majority of the models are supporting well over a foot of snow to occur across these regions, and there is a handful of models that also does support potentially over, basically near over 2 feet of snow as well. So like I did say, guys, this is your Rdps model. This is not your NAM. I don't have a thing for it. So in terms of your blend of models, this is what we have not looked at yet. This is your blend of models. Like I said before, it takes a whole bunch of your model outputs and blends them together. So let's go ahead and move this up here. I should probably drag that down. There we go. So in terms of things, this model, your blend of models does show, it kind of just picks up on some of that support here of maybe showing over a foot of snow. Pretty much anywhere across these areas, you can barely see it on the top right hand of the screen. But basically across the eastern side here of Maine, as well as eastern Massachusetts, we are expecting over a foot of snow. This is according to your National Reserve blend of models. The max according to this model is maybe 16, 17 inches according to this. Now we're talking more, maybe 6 to 10 inches across bits of this pink shaded area and inland, basically across this region here. We are expecting maybe the potential of over 6 to 10 inches of snow. More 3 to 5 across this dark blue shade area, 3 to 5 inches, and more 1 to 3 kind of across bits of the light blue shade color. Maybe up to a trace to an inch across the gray here. Let's go ahead and see here. I actually am in eastern Massachusetts. I've had so much rain in the last year, and always rain / snowline. So I guess it's time it changes. Yeah, there is no threat for rain, Ty, because we are expecting some really cold temperatures to drive its way down the region as well. Let's actually take a look at that according to this model, because we are expecting some pretty cold temperatures to occur as well. Now, you guys are probably already used to some pretty crazy temperatures, but take a look at this. So, we have daylight heating that goes on tomorrow, but you guys are still staying well in here in the freezing point when we're talking 20s here. Now, this actually does drive its way down, and you can kind of start to see some of this warmer air driving its way up north because we have all that warm air advection, basically all that moisture is being drawn in from bits of the Atlantic. But this is still showing us being well inside of the freezing line. Now, Cape Cod might get above freezing here. It's definitely possible it could get near above freezing because you're next to the coastal waters. Obviously, the coastal waters are influencing the temperature around it because, the waters are not at freezing point. They are above freezing, so they can actually radiate the heat off of and onto the land here. We actually have that advection going on, which does allow for actually a bit of those temperatures to warm up. So there might be some melting, maybe some wet snow to fall across bits of the eastern side here of, areas of Cape Cod. But for the eastern side here of Massachusetts, you are well expected to be inside of these freezing temperatures. Now, we are expecting a really dramatically cold shot of moisture to drive its way down here after the system does leave the area here. Take a look at this. We're talking negatives. We're talking negatives again across the northeast, across these areas here, bits of northwestern side here of Maine, northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire, as well as bits of northern portions of New York State. We actually are seeing the potential, maybe near the negative double digits, according to this, with that freezing line really driving its way down. We do have all that cold air that is really launching itself down to the southeast here, because we have this area of low pressure that's rotating counterclockwise. It's just dragging all this air behind it. We have the opposite effect going on with all the moisture that's being injected into the system here with that rotation we have going on. So, guys, that is essentially what we're talking about here. Now, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the chat below. I'll try to get to your guys' comments I will get to your guys' comments if you have any questions. If you want me to, look at a specific area in terms of snowfall, just leave it down in the comments below, and I'll try to get to it for you guys. But this is currently what we are expecting in terms of things. So guys, let's go ahead and move on here to the expected temperatures here for tonight. So it is going to be kind of cold again, so let's go ahead and switch on over here to our National Weather Service forecast in terms of things here. We're going to go ahead and go to our screen view. So we'll go ahead and pull up our minimum temperatures here for tonight. It's going to be quite a cold one. Let's go ahead and move this here. Sorry, my screen's being a little bit weird here. But this is kind of what we are expecting here for tonight's lows. We are actually expecting some pretty crazy temperatures here. Relatively cold. Let's go and see here. Severe weather, Sam. Do you think New York City will see some snowfall rates of around 1 inch of hour? Yes, definitely. That is definitely possible. Maybe even over 1 inch of hour. Maybe 1 inch per hour here, Sam. We actually are expecting the probability, because we are expecting some pretty heavy snow bands to occur. I mean, especially once that area of low pressure really starts wrapping up all that moisture, we are expecting a lot of craziness to occur in terms of maybe some heavy snowfall. So yeah, honestly, I would honestly probably even say maybe even 2 to 3 inch per hour snow rates are possible out of this. Alright, so guys, like I was saying before, across this purple shaded area, we actually are seeing those freezing temperatures, or these below zero temperatures across bits of the northern plains into the upper Midwest. We are expecting that to occur. Same thing across bits of the Rockies, especially for those upper elevations. We are kind of expecting maybe the temperatures to get into negatives, because obviously the higher you go up, the more colder it does tend to get, which, honestly, that is kind of expected here. So that freezing line in terms of the boundary between freezing temperatures and non-freezing temperatures is kind of located right here. The western side here of the coast is expected to be above freezing. Same thing for the southeast, but all the interior portions here of the states were expected to be, for the most part, well below freezing across a lot of these areas here. So it's going to be quite a chilly night for tonight. Now for tomorrow's highs, this is for tomorrow. It's going to be quite a cold day here across bits of the north, because we are expecting the system to draw in a bunch of cold air from the north and drag its way into the south. So basically, like I was saying here, these systems work by drawing in moisture here. They rotate counterclockwise. So we have our area of low pressure doing something like this. Just right out here off the coast of the mid-Atlantic. This would actually do the opposite effect on the western side. So it's rotating counterclockwise. You can imagine it drawing up all the moisture here from the bottom, basically where it is warmer and there is more moisture that's gotten evaporated into the air, as well as the cold air. This the further you go up north, the more colder it does get. So this is just dragging in all this cold air. So that's why we're getting snow on the back end of the system. That's why it's kind of split at near a 45-degree angle or so. Is because the fact that we're getting some heavy, cold temperatures here on the left-hand side, and we're getting those warm temperatures moving its way up on the right-hand side. So like I said, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the chat below. I'll try to get to your guys' questions if you have any. And if you guys want me to forecast for a specific area here, feel free to leave it down in the chat below. I'll get to your guys' comments the best I can. But if you guys are just now joining us, welcome. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. Hope you guys are doing good. If you are new to the channel, guys, consider subscribing. That'll be greatly appreciated. I really, really appreciate all of your guys' support. So, now, let's take a look here at the 48-hour max snowfall accumulation. This is according to your National Weather Service. So let's go ahead and zoom in here for the Northeast. We should probably start off here at the Mid-Atlantic in terms of snowfall. So this is for the system that is set to impact bits of the Mid-Atlantic. So we are kind of expecting 1 to 3 inches of snow to kind of fall across bits of this light blue shaded color across the region here. Nothing too crazy, not anything severe in terms, maybe some impacts obviously, but regardless, not too much. This snow line does kind of looks like it's going to dive its way down into bits of South Carolina is at its lowest peak here. So we might see some snow that far south. Now, in terms of accumulations, maybe up to a trace to 1 inch out of those gray shaded areas here. 1 to 3 kind of across the light blue, like I said. And also, as we start to get in here into this kind of heavier region of dark blue, we start to get more 3 to 5. And once we start to reach this pink, it's kind of more 6 to 10. This is where we start to get some pretty crazy accumulations. Now, once we get this red shaded maroon color, guys, this is where we are expecting at least a foot of snow to occur across these regions here. So this does include bits of eastern Delaware, eastern portions, southeastern portions here of New Jersey, bits of central and eastern parts of Long Island, as well as southeastern portion here of Connecticut, pretty much a lot of Rhode Island here, as well as eastern Massachusetts. This is where we are expecting, at least a foot of snow across these regions here. Now we are expecting more, maybe even near 2 feet of snow across bits of Cape Cod, as well as bits of Boston, Massachusetts, across the eastern side here. We are expecting some pretty crazy snowfall to occur across those regions, because we are seeing this area of low pressure track its way up to the northeast and strengthen quite quickly, which actually is allowing for a lot more moisture to be drawn up in the system. It's going to be quite a slow mover too. I mean, we're across bits of eastern Massachusetts. We're probably going to be seeing snow fall for at least 22 hours or so, because we are expecting this thing to start kind of across, around 2 o'clock in the morning. I believe, yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning here on the 29th, I want to say. 2 o'clock in the morning here on the 29th into 12 o'clock on the 30th. 12 o'clock in the morning on the 30th. So we are expecting about 22 hours of snowfall to fall across bits of eastern portion of Massachusetts here. So we are expecting, some pretty crazy snowfall, and it's not going to let up anytime soon because it is a pretty slow-moving system, and it's pretty long too. In terms of your latitude, it's pretty long. It goes really far up north and really far down south, which is going to allow for a lot more accumulations because you guys are kind of locked in here. Right here, all the snow is just going to be, driving on here on the coast across bits of the eastern side here, Massachusetts, which obviously, given that area, probably the best case scenario I've seen the most snow across the region. So now, guys, we're going to take a look here at the maximum wind gusts. This is over the next little bit. We're not expecting really any crazy windy conditions across bits of the mid-Atlantic into the northeast for now, but watch, this will change as we start to get here for the 29th, so this is actually just for tomorrow, but once we start to reach here in the 29th, this is whenever things are really going to start to change. We're going to start getting some really heavy wind gusts, especially on the backside here of Massachusetts. Not only is Massachusetts going to see some pretty heavy snowfall, but they're probably going to get a lot of coastal flooding as well. We're probably going to get a lot of coastal swelling. We're going to have a lot of that air because these cyclones, they do rotate counterclockwise, so it is kind of pushing all of the water here against the coast here of the eastern side here of Massachusetts, which will allow for the swelling of water to actually rise, which might cause some coastal flooding issues. So not only are we going to see some blizzard-like conditions, we're going to see some heavy snow, we're going to see some really, really crazy snowfall accumulations, we're going to see near whiteout conditions, we're going to see some really heavy wind gusts as well, potentially maybe even up to 60 miles per hour or more across some of these regions here. I did see some instances of maybe even near 70 miles per hour according to this, but we're going to have a lot of that water from the ocean being pushed against the side here of the coast, which will allow for the swelling of the water to actually rise up. We are expecting some pretty crazy impacts to occur for bits of Maine. Maine is probably going to get, or not Maine, Massachusetts is probably going to get the most hit out of the system. So guys, honestly, just please be safe. Please be careful whenever you are in the side of the storm. If you need to travel and you're across bits in the northeast, do it now. Do not wait. Do not wait until the storm starts to hit because road conditions are going to get very, very bad very, very quickly. So I just want to go ahead and give you guys the heads up. So that's essentially what we're talking about in terms of the forecast, in terms of everything. Now, guys, if you're just now joining us, welcome. Like I said, I hope you guys are doing good. So we're going to go ahead and take a break here for about 5 or 10 minutes or so. Then we're going to talk about what we were talking about here a minute ago. So, guys, if you do enjoy the live stream, consider subscribing, guys. We're almost here at our goal of 300 subscribers. So, guys, if you're not already, hit that subscribe button. That'd be greatly appreciated. You guys are rock. So, guys, we'll be back here in about 5 or 10 minutes or so. I will still be active in the chat. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave it down in the chat. If you guys would like to support the channel, we do have our donation system in the description below, as well as the chat. So you guys can donate there. It'd be greatly appreciated. But anyways, guys, we'll be back here in about 5 or 10 minutes or so. I'll see you all guys there.
The program is currently in effect southeast of Nantucket, Massachusetts, to protect an aggregation of right whales. All mariners and recreational boaters are requested to route around this area or transit through it at 10 knots or less. The southeast of Nantucket slow zone is bounded by the following coordinates: 41 degrees 14 minutes north latitude, 40 degrees 27 minutes north latitude, 68 degrees 58 minutes west longitude, 70 degrees 00 minutes west longitude. Here are 9 p.m. conditions across southern New England's coastal waters. Off the east coast of New Hampshire and Massachusetts, at Isle of Shoals Tower, the wind was southwest at 24 knots, with gusts up to 26 knots. At Boston Buoy, located 16 nautical miles east of Boston, the wind was southwest at 16 knots, with gusts up to 21 knots. Seas were 2 feet every 9 seconds, and the water temperature was 44 degrees. At Massachusetts Bay Buoy, seas were 4 feet, and the water temperature was 42 degrees. At Gulf of Maine Buoy, located 85 nautical miles east of Portsmouth, the wind was southwest at 25 knots, with gusts up to 31 knots. Seas were 6 feet every 6 seconds, and the water temperature was 45 degrees. To the south and east of Cape Cod, at Nantucket Sound Buoy, wind southwest at 14 knots, and the water temperature was 36 degrees. At Nantucket Buoy, located 54 nautical miles southeast of Nantucket, the wind was southeast at 4 knots. Seas were 3 feet every 6 seconds, and the water temperature was 48 degrees. At George's Bank Buoy, seas were 4 feet, and the water temperature was 44 degrees. And off the south coast of New England and Long Island, at Buzzards Bay Tower. At Monterey 60 knots, seas were 3 feet. At Long Island Buoy, gusting to 19 knots, seas were 3 feet, and the water temperature was 44 degrees. At Block Island Buoy, seas were 3 feet, and the water temperature was 46 degrees. Around Narragansett Bay, observations courtesy of the National Ocean Service ports. At Providence, the wind was southwest at 3 knots. At Nantucket Point, and the water temperature was 36 degrees. On Prudence Island, the wind was west at 4 knots. At Quonset Point, the wind was west at 5 knots. At Newport, the wind was west at 7 knots. At Fall River, and the water temperature was 36 degrees. Here is the official National Weather Service forecast for Cape Cod Bay, Nantucket Sound, Vineyard Sound, Buzzards Bay, and Rhode Island Sound, issued at 7:33 p.m., Thursday, January 27th. Storm watch in effect from late Friday night through Saturday evening. Tonight, southwest winds 10 to 15 knots with gusts up to 20 knots. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Friday, west winds 5 to 10 knots. Gusts up to 20 knots in the morning. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Friday night, north winds 10 to 15 knots with gusts up to 20 knots, becoming northeast 20 to 25 knots with gusts up to 35 knots after midnight. Seas 2 to 4 feet. A chance of snow until midnight, then snow likely after midnight with visibility 1 nautical mile or less. Saturday, north winds 30 to 40 knots with gusts up to 60 knots. Seas 6 to 9 feet. Snow. Visibility 1 nautical mile or less. Saturday night, north winds 30 to 35 knots with gusts up to 55 knots, becoming northwest 25 to 30 knots with gusts up to 35 knots after midnight. Seas 7 to 10 feet, building to 9 to 12 feet after midnight. Snow likely until midnight. Visibility 1 nautical mile or less until midnight. Sunday, northwest winds 20 to 25 knots, becoming west 15 to 20 knots in the afternoon. Gusts up to 30 knots. Seas 7 to 10 feet, subsiding to 4 to 7 feet in the afternoon. Sunday night, northwest winds 10 to 15 knots. Gusts up to 20 knots until midnight. Seas 3 to 5 feet, subsiding to 2 to 3 feet after midnight. Monday, north winds 5 to 10 knots. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Monday night, northeast winds 5 to 10 knots. Seas around 2 feet. Tuesday, east winds 5 to 10 knots. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Tuesday night.
Alrighty, guys, we're gonna go ahead and come back here. So I decided I'm just gonna go ahead and go back into this because we have a lot of information I want to go ahead and cover for you guys. In terms of things, but guys, if you're just now joining us, welcome. Hope you all are having a great day. Hope you guys are doing good here. So we're going to go ahead and move on back into everything here in terms of everything. Now, like I said, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the chat below. I'll try to get to them for you guys. So first off, we're going to take a look here at the current radar view. So we actually do have a bit of snow shower activity across bits of the Ohio Valley, as well as bits of the Tennessee Valley as well. We actually are seeing a decent amount of snowfall that is falling across these regions. Now, areas such as Evansville, this is actually in, I believe, southwestern Indiana. It does look like southwestern Indiana. We actually are seeing a bit of snow shower activity. Same for Louisville, Frankfort, Lexington, all these major cities here in Kentucky, as well as bits of southern Indiana. We are seeing a bit of snow shower activity. Now, it does look like we might have a bit of sleet and freezing rain kind of mixing in here across bits of the southern portion here of Kentucky and to bits of northern portions of Tennessee. Kind of just north here of Knoxville. It kind of looks like we might see some, mixture of precipitation according to this starting to break its way in the region. Now, if we change over here to our, GR2, it actually does show a different story here. We're actually taking a look here at some rain that's actually falling across bits of, Tennessee into bits of central Kentucky. So it's kind of hard to see what to believe here. Maybe some mixture of rain mixing in with this, some freezing rain mixing in with this. Kind of in a pink shade area. Now we're talking more snow that actually is falling across bits of Indiana. As well as northern Kentucky. So both of the radars actually did say that. So this is currently what we are seeing here on a local state, is we actually are seeing some snow that is falling its way across these regions here. So, this is associated with an air mass that is moving its way from the Ohio Valley down into bits of the Mid-Atlantic. This will be a major factor for tomorrow's snowstorm that we will see across the region. We actually are expecting some pretty heavy impacts to occur across a lot of these areas here. So We'll go ahead and talk about that here in a second. So we're gonna go ahead and move back here. Like I said, we do have a bit of snow shower activity across bits of the Ohio-Tennessee Valley here. Now we do move into the Mid-Atlantic. We do have a little bit more snow showers going on. This is near Fredericksburg, just southwest here of DC. Kind of near Warrenton, almost in near Manassas area. We are seeing a bit of snow showers across the region here, as well as bits of the northeast. We actually do have a bit more snow shower activity. This does include bits of Plattsburgh, Burlington, Albany, even bits of Buffalo. It looks like we actually are seeing a little bit more snow shower activity across these major cities here. That is currently going on across these regions. Then we do move into bits of the Midwest. We actually do have, it looks like for the Des Moines area, we actually are seeing a bit more snow shower activity across these regions as well. So, right now we are seeing, a lot of snow showers across bits of the central, parts of the plains, as well as bits of the Ohio Valley and northeast, because we are seeing, this whole bunch of moisture drive its way down from the south. This actually did impact southern Canada yesterday. So this is the whole air mass that's moving its way across the region here. Now, this will track its way off, basically to the east here, which we're actually currently seeing this right now. Then we actually do have a bit more moisture. You can barely see here, but it actually is going on across bits of the southeast here. Across the southeastern side here of the Atlantic shoreboard. Now, all this moisture is set to meet up. This is all tracking its way up to the northeast. We actually do have all this, this is moving its way this way. So we are expecting to get an area of low pressure that will develop here. It will track its way up to the northeast here, potentially causing some pretty crazy impacts in terms of winter weather, like I was saying here. So, I wanted to go ahead and mention for you guys, so not only are we expecting some pretty crazy snowfall to fall out of the system, we are expecting maybe up to near, maybe even up to near 2 feet of snow across some of the eastern side here of Massachusetts. I mean, obviously, this is kind of where we are expecting the major snowfall to go in areas such as Boston, Salem, New Bedford. We actually are talking the potential of some pretty heavy snowfall across these regions here. Yarmouth, we're actually talking this kind of right here on, the Cape Cod area here, as well as bits of Nantucket. We're probably going to see some heavy snowfall across the regions here as well. So this is something that we really definitely need to monitor, because we are expecting some pretty crazy impacts to occur out of the system, because we actually are expecting not only some heavy snow to occur, but we actually are expecting the potential of some heavy winds as well. So we're going to probably see some near blizzard conditions across these areas here. It's going to be quite crazy at times. Now, like I did say before, we are going to get this area of low pressure that's going to strengthen its way off the coast here. I'm going to go ahead and kind of, simple this down for you guys, kind of give you an idea of how these systems work. So, let's go and see here. Totally Weather says, I made it on time finally. Welcome, dude. I'm glad to see you here. Hope you're having a great night so far. So, guys, we just now reached 286 subscribers, so thank you all so much, whoever just subscribed. It's greatly appreciated. I really, really appreciate all your support. So, like I was saying, guys, we are getting this warm air. That moisture is coming up from the south, southeastern side here. This is actually warmer air because it's obviously further south, dragging up all that warm air with it. Because that the further you go south, the more warmer it gets, and the further you go up north, the more colder it gets. So the opposite actually does happen here. We get some cold air that starts driving its way down from the side. So that's why, these systems, if you ever wondered why the snow systems are kind of arced, it's actually because, the left side is actually getting more colder air, which allows for more wintry precipitation, and the right side is more warm air, but more moisture, so a lot more heavier rainfall across the sides. But like I said before, these systems do rotate counterclockwise, which basically means that, we're going to get a lot of heavy winds here, because this thing is expected to strengthen really, really quickly here. So we are going to start to see, due to this counterclockwise motion, we are going to start to see a lot of those heavy winds start to pound against the eastern side here of the coast, really starting to grab all of that moisture, all the water here. The heavy winds are going to start picking up because this system is going to start to strengthen, and it's going to start pushing all that water, because the winds actually push water. If you ever wonder what makes waves, it's actually the difference between tides and between winds. Winds actually cause the waves to go. The higher the winds are, the higher the waves are as well. So we actually are expecting maybe even near 60, 70 mile per hour winds across these areas here. We'll take a look at that here in a moment in the models. But we are expecting a lot of that air, a lot of that circulating air here to really kind of pound against the western side here. Which will actually allow for, maybe some coastal swelling, because due to the fact you're getting all those waves pushing against the shore, it actually rises the water level, because it's pushing all that water against the shore, and it's pushing it on land. So that might cause some hazards of maybe some coastal flooding. That's kind of a big concern. Coastal flooding is a concern. Maybe blizzard-like conditions. We're probably going to see some near whiteout conditions as well, because we are probably going to see some pretty heavy snowfall rates, maybe up to 2 to 3 inches per hour across some of these areas here. And this system is a quite slow mover, too. It's a relatively long system in terms of latitude, north and south. It's quite long. So this will allow for, Massachusetts to really get a lot, because they're kind of right here in the bullseye zone of where the system is expected to track here. So this is currently what we are expecting, guys. Like I said before, I hope you guys stay safe, because this is a pretty crazy system here. I mean, obviously we're gonna give you guys the latest coverage in this. We're gonna be live for this whenever this does happen. I don't know. Now that I've been looking at it, I don't know if we're gonna go live tomorrow. We might actually. We'll probably go live tomorrow. I guess we'll go live tomorrow, as well as we'll definitely go live here on the 29th, because the heaviest impacts is expected to happen on the 29th. Across those hours here across the northeast. But guys, if you're just now joining us, welcome. Hope you guys are having a great day today. Hope you guys are staying safe. So if you guys are new to the channel, guys, consider subscribing. That'll be greatly appreciated. We're almost here at our goal of 300 subscribers. So guys, I really, really appreciate all of your support. So thank you all so much once again for all of your guys' support. It's greatly appreciated. So, but yeah, guys, that's essentially what we're talking about. So we are expecting some pretty heavy impacts, especially near eastern Massachusetts. We'll take a look here at the models in terms of that here in a second. So guys, let's go ahead and move on here to the future radar in terms of things. We're going to take a look here at what we're expecting to see down the line. Things are expected to get quite crazy here. So here's your future radar view. This is currently what we are expecting. We'll go ahead and move into the current time. It's almost near 10 o'clock here. So, as we were seeing on the actual radar view, we do have a bit of moisture that's, from this air mass that's across to the northeast into the Ohio Valley here. This will be kind of a part of the system we are expected to see tomorrow. Like I said, we have some moisture across to the southeastern side here of the Atlantic shoreboard. This will track its way up to the northeast, kind of meeting up with all this moisture that we see across the Ohio Valley. This will actually create an area of low pressure to develop. We start causing some, counterclockwise rotation and drawing in more moisture, which will ultimately leads for some heavy snow to fall across to the northeast. Now, this system is expected to strengthen the more further it does go up to the north here. So, we'll just continue to look at this. So, we do track down here in time for the afternoon hours here tomorrow. As we start to move into time, we actually will start to see, cross bits of, this is for the morning time tomorrow. We actually are expecting to see some pretty heavy snow falling across bits of the Ohio Valley and 2 bits of the Tennessee Valley. Maybe some snow across those regions. Now, as this system does track its way into the afternoon hours here tomorrow, kind of around 2, 3 o'clock, we'll start to see some of the snow build into the mid-Atlantic view, maybe causing some heavy snowfall to fall across bits of Virginia, Maryland, as well as Delaware, but the snow is not really expected to last too long in those areas. It's really not going to hang around too long across these areas. Now, this area of low pressure will start to strengthen quite quickly. Like I said, we'll start to get some of that counterclockwise motion start to come in. Basically, that cold air being drawn down from bits of the north. Basically, the cold air driving its way down here, and that warmer. Let's actually drive this in. We'll draw this in blue to give you guys a better reference here. So the colder air drives its way down from the north here, and we'll actually get the opposite effect. We'll actually get a lot of moisture and a lot of warm air driving its way on the eastern side. So basically, due to that, that's why the side here, that's why the snow lines arc. It's because we have all this warm air pushing against all this precipitation, which allows it to melt and turn into rain. But then we have the opposite effect on the other side. We actually have all this cold air that's pushing down on the opposite side, which is allowing for the colder air to build in, allowing for more wintry precipitation to fall, which is the reason that this is actually occurring here. Totally Weather says, "Oh, I realize you're just streaming. I had my volume on." Good job there. But like I said, totally, I'm glad to see you here. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're having a great night and everything like that. But that's pretty funny. You literally didn't think I was streaming, so you thought I was just doing random motions here just for nothing. Man, that's pretty funny. But like I was saying, guys, we are seeing this warmer air drive its way up here, basically from the Gulf of Mexico, or sorry, from the eastern side here of the Atlantic shoreboard. So basically, that's why these are kind of slanted here, almost at a 45-degree angle, because we have all this warm moisture driving its way up into the system, because we have that counterclockwise motion, and then we have the colder air behind the system driving in that colder air across the region, allowing for the transformation from, basically allowing for that transformation from, just rain into actually wintry precipitation as that colder air starts to build in on the top of the system here. Totally love you too. I really appreciate that, dude. But like I said, we are expecting to see that snow. Now, once we start to kind of move here, this is for the early morning hours here for the 29th. Now, as we start to track into the afternoon hours, around 2 o'clock, I mean, a lot of these areas are going to be seeing snow. We'll start to see the back end of the system kind of move its way away from the mid-Atlantic. We'll still be seeing some snow across bits of the northeast in the areas such as eastern Maine, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, as well as bits of, Connecticut. It will be possible across these regions. It would actually probably be expected at this time, because we are probably expecting a craziness to occur. This will track its way into the early morning hours here for the 30th. This system is set to exit the region here out by the 30th. It says severe storms on the ocean. Yeah, we probably are going to see some severe storms on the ocean, but honestly, that's not going to cause any impacts for the coast. or it's not kind of cause any impacts for the for the United States. But for boaters who are out there, I wouldn't even be out there to begin with, because these winds are going to start picking up. But yeah, there's probably going to be a little bit of severe weather on the basically out in the ocean here across the southeastern side. So guys, if you have any questions, feel free to leave it down in the chat below. If you guys are new to the channel, guys, consider subscribing. I'm glad to see you guys here. Hope you guys are doing good, and I hope you guys stay safe with this upcoming system we are currently dealing with across the region, or we're expected to see here across the region here starting tomorrow. We're already starting to see the beginning factors start to take play with the system here, so we'll just continue looking at this here. So now let's go ahead and take a look here at the models. I'm sure a lot of people want to know just how much snow they can expect in terms of things. I'm sure they want to know what these models have to say. Let's go and see here. Totally Weather says, I'm out for now. Enjoy your stream. Have a good night. Yeah, you too, Totally Weather. Glad to see you here. Glad you joined for a little bit. So now we're going to take a look here at the models in regard to things. We're going to take a look here first off at the GFS model. This is your long-range American model in terms of things. So we're going to start off here across the nation. Let me go ahead and just switch my scenes over real quick for you guys in terms of things. So first off, we're going to take a look here at the precipitation type and rate. This is basically where we're taking a look here at this area of low pressure and all the snow that's expected to fall. So we do track down in time here. Like I said before, we are seeing all this moisture across to the southeastern side here, of the southeast here. So this is expected to track its way up to the north here. We actually are starting to see this area of low pressure start to develop here, along with this air mass we are currently seeing across bits of the Ohio Valley into the mid-Atlantic. This will drive itself to the east-southeast here, kind of meeting up with this area of low pressure, starting to draw its way into the region here as we start to get this starting to track its way up to the northeast. So, so the general idea between these models is the fact that this is expected to track its way up to the northeast here, starting to strengthen as we start to get up closer to the northeast and allowing for a lot of heavy snow to fall across to the northeast. We're talking some pretty heavy accumulations too across to the eastern side here, Massachusetts. We actually are expecting some pretty crazy weather to occur. So, like I did say before, we actually are expecting this area of low pressure to develop. You'll see on the other models, they actually do support this as well. This is basically how this is going to play out. We get that colder air really starting to back down. You can really see a good reference here of where that cold air is backing down into. Because like I said, these systems rotate counterclockwise. Basically, you can imagine just dragging in that cold air down here from the north. Because the higher you go up, the more colder it does get. Now, the further you go down south, the warmer it gets. We have the opposite effect on the other side. We'll go ahead and draw this a little bit better so you guys can see. We actually have the opposite effect in terms of all the warm air starting to drive on the eastern side of the system. So that's why basically, that's why there's split kind of here at a weird angle. Is because you got that cold air is backing down on the left side of the system. You got that warm air that's starting to drive itself through basically the southern end, the right hand side of the system. So that's basically how these systems work. Now, as we do track down in time, this is expected to strengthen quite quickly. I mean, we're talking 970 something millibars according to this model here. So we actually are expecting this thing to take off quite quickly. Andy says, hello, what's up, Andy? Welcome to the live stream. Hope you're good. Hope you're doing good here. So like I did say, that was your previous model. This one is a little bit more aggressive and showing this area of low pressure a lot more stronger here. Same impacts though. We are expecting this to occur. We are expecting some pretty heavy impacts to impact the northeast as well as bits of the mid-Atlantic as well across these regions. So now, we're going to move on to your European model. This is your Ecmwf. Now, in terms of this, you'll actually see the similarities like what I'm talking about. We'll have all this moisture across the southeastern side here of the United States. We'll actually start to see, this air mass we're currently seeing across the Ohio Valley track itself into this area of low pressure, fueling it with more moisture across these regions here, kind of meeting up with this area of low pressure from all this moisture that's already across the south. And this will start to track its way up to the northeast. Now, same story. It is expected to strengthen very, very quickly. In terms of things, it'll start to allow for a lot of heavy snow to start falling across bits of the northeast here. Obviously the same idea is still there. Some heavier snowfall, pretty much more west here. This model is actually saying here. I keep on saying that. But like I said, Andy says, what's up? What's up, Andy? Welcome to live stream. Like I said before, I'm actually doing all right. Hope you're doing good as well. But like I was saying, guys, in terms of your European model, this one actually does share. Similarities in the fact that this is actually going to draw up a lot of moisture here, and this area of low pressure is set to strengthen quite rapidly across the northeast. As I was saying, this track its way out of the region here for the 30th. So, now let's move on to your Rdps model. This is your Canadian model. Let's go ahead and drop down to our scene here in terms of the Canadian model. Kind of take a look here at the differences between these models. So, same story here. We are expecting all that moisture. There's two, air masses to converge here, causing the system to track its way up to the northeast. So same story, this area of low pressure might actually drop here in the upper 60s and the upper 960 mark, which is a very, very strong area of low pressure. So we are expecting this system, this thing actually to, strengthen quite quickly here. And potentially land for a lot of heavy snow to fall across the northeast as this thing does track out on the 30th. So what we do know, between all of these models, we do have the similarities of all this moisture across the southeast, all the moisture across bits of the Ohio Valley, kind of tracking its way across the mid-Atlantic, as well as the system is tracking its way up to the north. They'll kind of converge. This area of low pressure will track its way up to the northeast here, starting to strengthen, allowing for a lot more that moisture to be drawn in and a lot more heavier snow across the coastal side here of the northeast. And kind of exiting the region from here by the 30th. That's basically what we are seeing between all these models. Now, guys, let's talk accumulations. How much are we expecting out of the system? Now, let's go ahead and take a look here across bits of the northeast real quick. Let's go ahead and take a look here at what we're seeing in terms of accumulation. So let's go ahead and move here over to the winter weather side of things. So in terms of things, basically this is what this is showing. We are expecting, this one's, like I said, has more of an easterly track here. This is actually showing basically a lot more, less snow compared to what these other models are seeing across these regions. But now this one does show the fact we might actually see just over, maybe just near over 2 feet of snow. Now this one in particular kind of shows it just under 2 feet of snow across these regions. So we'll go ahead and see what this brings. But across these pink shade areas, we're kind of talking more 6 to 10 inches across the region, more 3 to 5 across the dark blue, as well as 1 to 3 kind of across the light blue shaded color. This is currently what we are expecting across the region. Now, across bits of the kind of the gray shaded area, we actually are kind of expecting maybe a trace to an inch of snow. According to this model, like I said before, guys, you really can't trust one model individually when it comes to snowfall totals. So that's according to this. Now, we do move on to our Ecmwf model. This is your European model in regard to things. So this one in particular basically shows a lot more of a different story. This one has that snowfall really driving its way more west because we do have a more of a westerly track here. So this one does show a bit more snow moving its way to the west here. Now the areas here, basically in this maroon red shaded color, we actually are expecting some pretty heavy snowfall, potentially over 8 foot of snow. Andy says, what model is the most aggressive? So right now, the most aggressive is this model, the European, as well as the NAM models. We'll take a look at both of those here in a second. Yeah, but the NAM model and the Ecmwf is the most aggressive right now. But like I said before, guys, the area here in the maroon red shaded color, we actually are seeing basically the potential of over 8 foot of snow being likely across these regions. So that's essentially what we're talking about. So let's go ahead and do this real quick. So, that's essentially what we're talking about, guys. So, just like I said before, please be safe. Please be careful with the system. Make sure you get all of your things done. Make sure that make sure you get everything done before the system does impact the region here. So, make sure you get everything you need to get done already, so that you guys can basically, be safe in terms of this. All right, so guys, that is essentially what we're dealing with here. So, like I said, over 8 foot is expected across these maroon red shaded colors. Now, once we start to move into the eastern side here of Massachusetts, this is kind of where we're starting to reach maybe over a 2 feet area. We're potentially maybe seeing over 2 feet of snow across bits of Cape Cod, as well as bits of eastern Massachusetts here, potentially over 2 feet of snow being possible. Now, obviously, your GFS did not show this. Your GFS model just showed maybe over a foot across eastern Massachusetts, because this one has more of an easterly track, but this one's way more west compared to things. This one's showing maybe up to potential of well over 2 feet of snow, according to this. So, guys, like I said before, across this dark blue shade area, maybe more 3 to 5. The light blue kind of more 1 to 3 inches, and kind of the gray more, maybe up to a trace to an inch of snow across these regions here. So now we're going to take a look here at the NAM model. This is your North American model in regard to things. So this one is kind of similar between what your Ecmwf model has to say. You'll actually take a look at that here right now. So this one we do track down in time. This one's kind of similar, showing the potential of all the heavy snow, potentially over 8 foot to fall across bits of these regions. This does include bits of Maine, bits of the eastern side here, or basically southeastern side here of New Hampshire, eastern side of Massachusetts, as well as bits of Rhode Island, eastern Connecticut, as well as bits of Long Island. We actually are saying that. So, honestly, that is what we're saying here. So, honestly, what we are expecting probably max here is maybe up to 2 feet of snow. I really wouldn't expect any more. Maybe up to 2.5 feet of snow being possible at max, absolutely. Andy says, David said 3 to 4 feet possible, not likely. I wouldn't even say that. I wouldn't even say that 4 foot is possible. Honestly, if you were to go at extreme, worst case scenario, maybe near 3 feet of snow. But no, what we're expecting is a lot lower. Maybe up to 1 to 2 feet is expected across bits of eastern Massachusetts. Areas such as Cape Cod, as well as bits of Boston, we are expecting the heaviest snowfall to occur across eastern Massachusetts. This is where we actually are seeing all this craziness to occur. So like I said before, guys, across this region here, basically in the maroon red shaded color, we actually are seeing the potential of over a foot of snow to fall across these regions here. That's kind of what we are expecting. Now, pretty much between this white and this pink shaded area, we actually are expecting maybe 6 to 10 inches of snow to fall across this gap here. Kind of 3 to 5 across the dark blue, as well as 1 to 3 across the light blue. Now, like I did say before, this kind of does take a lot of similar traits. Further west of the track, kind of compared to what your Ecmwf model, your European model, had to say here. So there is a bit of similarities between these two models alone. Now, if we move on here to our Gdps model, this is your Canadian model in terms of things. This one is a little bit different. We'll actually see this. But, still kind of same in some aspect. This one still has a westerly track, but this one has the overall, precipitation that's falling out of the system is a little bit lower here. Across the eastern portion of Massachusetts, maybe over a foot of snow is expected across this region. Same thing for bits at Rhode Island. Maybe some instances of maybe near 2 feet of snow being possible across these areas. But like I said, once again, guys, kind of across this maroon red shade color, we actually are expecting the snow totals maybe to get over a foot of snow. This does not include made for this one. So this one say there is still a bit of differences between these models at the moment. So we're just going to have to continue looking at this over the next little bit. So now we're going to move on here to our National Weather Service blended models. Now, like I said before, it takes a whole bunch of model outputs, kind of blends them together in terms of things. So this is kind of what we are expecting in terms of snowfall out of the blended model. So let's go ahead and switch on over to our blend here. So this one kind of shows the fact that, maybe up to 12 plus inches. We'll go ahead and draw a nice little visual for you guys here in terms of things. So we'll go ahead and draw kind of this maroon reddish shade color. We're actually talking maybe up to 12 plus inches. So we'll do a little 12 plus inches here. That's kind of where we are expecting 12 plus inches to fall across the region here, according to this model alone. Now, once we start to kind of pull into this area here, let's go ahead and draw this kind of across this area here. This is kind of where we are expecting more of actually no, I should probably redo that real quick. Kind of around this pink shade color right here. This is kind of where we are expecting more of 6 to 10 inches. So kind of 6 to 10 inches expected around the region here, according to this model alone. Across the region, so 12 plus across the maroon red shaded color, 6 to 10 across this region here. Now we move on to the dark blue. Now the dark blue is a little bit different, kind of showing more, maybe 3 to 5 inches. Kind of hard to write here. So 3 to kind of 5 inches is expected. 3 to 5 inches is expected to fall across these regions here. And once we start to kind of move a little bit further out here, this is where the totals actually drop even more. Where we're talking significantly less. Kind of across these regions here, we kind of are expecting maybe 1 to 3 inches, according to this. So 1 to 3 inches is expected across this light blue shaded colors here, as well as kind of this gray shaded color here. This is kind of where we are expecting maybe a trace to an inch. So that's kind of what we are expecting in terms of the accumulation. So like I said, once again, guys, across the maroon red shaded color, we're expecting well over a foot of snow, or near over a foot of snow across these regions here. 6 to 10 across the pink shaded area. 3 to 5 kind of across the dark blue to the white shaded area. 1 to 3 kind of across the light blue to near the dark blue shaded area, as well as near a trace region kind of here across the gray 2 bits of the gray shaded area, basically near a trace to an inch. But guys, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the chat below. I'll try to get to your guys' questions if you have any of them. If you want me to forecast for a specific area, feel free to leave it down in the chat below. I'll try to get to you for you guys. And if you guys have any questions, feel free. If you guys are new to the channel, guys, consider subscribing. That'll be greatly appreciated. We're almost here at our 300 subscriber goal. So, thank you guys so much once again for all of your support. I really, really appreciate it. So, guys, like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the chat below. If you are new to the channel, like I said, guys, consider subscribing. That'd be greatly appreciated. So, that is essentially what we are talking in terms of the snowfall. Now, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the live stream for today. If you guys did enjoy it, we weren't going live too long for today. We're just doing a quick update for you guys. So if you guys did enjoy it, like I said, leave a thumbs up. That'd be greatly appreciated, as well as subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're trying to get to that 300 mark by the end of January. We can do it, guys. We're only 14 subscribers off. So, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the live stream today. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Wonderful rest of your night here. Like I said, guys, we will be going live here tomorrow. So, definitely stay tuned for that. We will be going live on this event for tomorrow, as well as the 29th across these regions here. Let's go and see here. So that's basically what we will see in terms of things. So guys, like I said, that's gonna wrap it up for the live stream for today. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure to leave a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Once again, it'll be greatly appreciated. So guys, I will see you all